Aloha, everyone, and welcome to the Neutral Zone. I'm your host, Jason Schwartz, here in Maui, MauiNeutralZone.com. We're also on KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui, simulcast as Akaku, Maui Community Media, channel 55 on cable. You can go up to youtube.com/at Dream Maui and the numeral 1. In other words, if you're looking for us, you can find us. And all you need to do is, oh, by the way, MauiNeutralZone.com. We have a search engine on the site. You can search by name so you can find this show, or we have a bunch of other shows for a lot of years. So some of you on Maui might say, who's this guy? Why isn't he in the studio with you? Well, that's because Michael Gilberg is, where are you, Michael? In New York, right?
Westchester County, New York.
Westchester County, New York. To those of you that don't know New York, that means out of New York City and up the lazy river, not too far, to the county right north of New York. And I ran into Michael in a very fun way. It's that thing about you should check to see your ancestry, and I never knew past my not the 2000, but the 1900s. And so I had, there was a family tree, and there was Michael Gilberg who reached out to me. I thought, wow, I have relatives that I don't know about that I can actually track and trace. And Michael, you were on the list. What are we, second or third cousins? Or how
No,
old?
much more distant. We are fourth cousins once removed.
Well, what does once removed mean?
Different generations. So I'm actually a fourth cousin to your father, even though he would have been 50 years older than me. But because of how generations work when you go over time, I'm the same generation as your father. So you're the generation of children I don't have yet.
Oh, see, that's now that I know that, I'm no closer
Even though
to
you're older than me, I'm a generation above you. It's how things work when you go over multiple generations and hundreds of years. So what is it? Your great grandfather was named Jacob Yellen,
yeah,
and
Jacob Yellen. I was named after him.
right. So his mother's name was Kayla Bailey Gilberg, and she was a first cousin to my, I think it's great grandfather. She was a first cousin to my great grandfather. But I
Wow.
could be off a generation there. I
So
gotta
I
double.
can't really, if I can't get any closer, that might be as close as I can find out in the family. Because, it's funny, we never really talked back generations as I was growing up. We had a
Yeah, that's
pretty
it.
good,
My great great grandfather was first cousins with your uh great 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 grandmother, I think it is. Yeah, it's hard to visualize it. I have the tree in front of me, but it's hard to visualize. But
so
I
that's
found
interesting, though.
thousands of relatives all over the world doing this on all sides
Wow.
of my tree.
Well, that's interesting. I don't know. I should someday take a closer look, but the relatives I have that are still alive are in now in the mainland. Did you ever speak to my brother in Wyoming?
I did. I spoke to you last when I spoke to your brother. He was in California.
Oh yeah, yeah,
And now he's in Wyoming.
yeah. He is. And there's
Well, I
a
have no,
go
found
ahead.
no one else in Wyoming, so I have a goal to visit all 50 states. So he'd be the one and only person to see in Wyoming.
Me too. But
When I spoke to him, he was somewhere in California.
yeah, and he sold his house in Boulder Creek, and I guess they were a mile from the edge of the fire there, and that was enough to make his wife not want to stay around. So they moved to a nice place there, right? I guess pretty close to Montana. Yeah. That's very different than Maui, I'm sure of that. And so is where you are. How is the weather these days?
It's nice. Sorry, it's nice today over here, but it's been up and down. The weather, I think weather is difficult everywhere.
You know, we hear from Hawaii, we hear about things on the mainland. It sounds like one giant mess. Nothing is predictable anymore. We're seeing all kinds of changes in the weather. One thing
Mhm.
that I notice is that here in Hawaii, we are blessed. Whatever is going on, wherever it is, we're here in paradise. I still love New York. I haven't been there in so many years, but I look forward to going back here before the end of my days. Now, when I ran into you and heard what you did, I thought, this is really a subject that crosses lines. It's, you know, there may be specific laws, everything. So tell me a little bit more. You work with people that have autism and special needs.
I'm an attorney. I represent people with all sorts of disabilities: autism, dyslexia, ADHD, mental health issues, children, anybody who's still in school who's having a dispute with the school district over the appropriate educational services they're entitled to under the IDEA, which is the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. So the law says every child is entitled to what's considered a free and appropriate education. Every child is entitled to a free and appropriate education based on their individual needs.
And that sometimes may be hard to accommodate, I
Well,
trust.
it's also every parent and schools have different idea of what's appropriate for each child. So what you say might be the appropriate for this child might not be what I think is appropriate. The word appropriate is very subjective. And so it's the question of what is this child capable of? Nobody's entitled to the best, but nobody's entitled to the worst. It's whatever is again appropriate. But the definition of appropriate varies from child to child and perception. Parents always want the most they can get.
Well, you
And
know, and I imagine as they come to you as an attorney because they're not getting what they feel is appropriate. Is that generally it?
correct. And in many cases, in most cases, it's the schools not wanting to spend money. You'll get the occasional parent who wants things that are unreasonable, but usually the parents are being reasonable and the schools don't want to spend the money, at least
And
from where
this,
I sit.
no, I'm sure. With all the things that are happening with the federal government and cuts, does it impact your area? And are they pulling from monies?
Likely, but we're not there yet. It's so soon. We haven't seen it yet, but we're going to see it.
So that's going to be quite a public issue, I'm sure, immediately, right?
Especially because parents are going to fight for their children.
And I think the whole public is the public softening or softening? Are they aware how important it is to give equal education to everyone outside of
Not
the
as much.
school?
Let's put it this way: unless you have just a child with a disability, you're not really aware of the law.
I see. So it really is not a subject generally even considered. Most people don't get into that area
Right?
yet.
People don't think of rules unless it affects your life, like many topics.
So, when you work with different kinds of people, what kind of needs come up? Are there any things that we might point to an example, or people that are in schools might understand how they can better serve? Just sort of looking generally. When I think of disabilities, I think of mental disabilities, and physical disabilities,
Well,
and
and there's all
mental.
kinds, and generally speaking, the people I represent, I mean, it can be anything, but generally they end up being people with mental health issues, autism, mental health, dyslexia, like the learning disabilities, ADHD. The physical stuff, they don't discriminate as much. There is a wheelchair ramp or there isn't. And so, generally speaking, I don't get cases of kids, as I say, who are in a wheelchair or blind or deaf, because those kids, they give them the services because it's more obvious.
I see. So many of these cases that you have are people that are not necessarily perceived as disabled. Is that what you're saying?
Or
Or
they don't know how to handle it. What's an appropriate level of service?
right, I guess every individual case is just that, an individual case.
Exactly.
Wow. So how did you get into something like this? That's really a real specialty.
I grew up with undiagnosed Asperger's at the time, which they now lump into autism, and I was in special ed and did not get the right services. So I wanted to go into this to help other children avoid a lot of the problems I've had.
That's a great reason. D do you find that there are many differences between you deal in your jurisdiction of New York only, or do
New
you
York and Connecticut.
New York and Connecticut? Are the rules, from your experience, very different in each state?
Well, it's a federal law, so it's pretty similar state to state, but there are nuances and differences within each state.
And I got when do you find yourself negotiating, or you find yourself going to court? When do you find that?
Most of the time, I can settle the cases, particularly in Connecticut. New York's a little harder. New York City is its own animal that's separate. But when I go to court, I go to court. I litigate, and usually the goal is to win.
Oh yeah, yeah. And when is services?
Services for the parents and for the child. And so, if you have to fight it, the problem is sometimes parents can't afford it. And, as an attorney, you have to make money and there's no guarantee. So it's tricky. You can't help all these kids. It would be great if there was a program out there to pay for kids' service, to pay for attorneys for kids who need it, whose parents can't afford it.
That's a great thing to realize. Is there such a thing? I don't have like a any kind of focus in any of these fundraising places. Maybe we should start one. It sounds
Mm.
like a really worthwhile thing to do. Um, there's I have a friend here who he and his wife started a youth sort of, I want to call it a bridge center of a place where kids can go for a couple of weeks and cool out from the parents and deal with. Um, are most of the disabilities that you deal with, um, again, parents generated? I mean, like here, you're hearing about this kind of a service. They're paying for it out of the.
I don't know what you mean by parenting. I mean, people have disabilities, so I don't know that are naturally within them. So I don't know what you mean by parent generated.
Well, when someone comes to you, the kid may have a need, but it's the parent that comes to you. Is it
Obviously, yeah,
ever?
the child can't come to me on their own. I
But
generally,
let's say here in Hawaii, by example, XYZ services are having a problem with the family grouping, and the kid just needs a breather. He just had a big fight with mom and dad. They don't exactly know what to do. He needs somewhere to go. So this guy built a shelter, spent, millions of dollars, him and his wife, created this interim space, and they got a staff and they're all trained and everything. So I'm saying, to me, that would be yet another source of someone there saying, this person needs special assistance. So that's why I was just wondering if they're that kind of, there must be, I think, service. I call them bridge places. Around here in Hawaii, that's a rare thing in that there's a lot of things needed that just strictly, like you say, there's not facility for it. So this is somewhat, at least in our experience here, kind of unique. So I wondered, as an attorney, do you ever hear from some group that says, I'm here and we have a kid that's in this home, and it's somehow not really understood that this young woman or man could use additional services, and we'd like to hire a specialty attorney. I'm just talking out loud, but especially if, like you say, the law is a federal law, and so someone potentially hire you from here for an activity while
No,
you're.
no, you have to be licensed within the state. I can only work within New York and Connecticut.
And what kind of specialty would this be? A known specialty?
It's called special education law.
I see. Okay. Well, that seems to me like a real around here. I've been here now 37 years, actually, exactly half of my life. So, in that time, I've experienced that we're lacking in social service help, in that it's hard to measure progress. But if it is, I don't know how you guys rate it, but I say, how many times do people that are in jail or go to jail again, and go to jail again? And are they having nuclear family problems and domestic violence?
Those can interplay into what I do. Not necessarily, but they can be an interplay.
I see. Okay. Do you have any part of this? I want to say that you get to celebrate with your clients, so I'm sure they're all that the win are very much appreciating. But I wondered, how this is this an ongoing relationship there, or is it strictly for something like need the special need?
It depends on the case. Some kids I'll represent for a small period of time just to get them one thing. Some kids I will represent for years at a time. Again, it varies from case to case.
But this is really like a very specific specialty, and you're probably busier than you know what to do with. I couldn't imagine.
And I wish I was busier, but unfortunately, I'm not the greatest at myself at time management.
Well, and also maybe I think the getting the public to understand that this kind of help is available. Sometimes that's got to be really important. I hope that if you share this with people, or we can put it on public broadcasting wherever you are or whatever you'd like, that,
A lot of interviews.
pardon me,
I do a lot of interviews.
you do. Okay.
Yes.
Radio, TV, a little of each.
Either whatever's around like this.
I see. Well, that's good. I'm glad I'm part of an aware culture that's aware of how important what you do is. And it's important to know that, in my case, the Schwartz name is, there's hidden Schwartzes out there in the world. Mel Brooks knew that "May the Schwartz be with you" was the right thing to say. I've been very encouraged over my life. People, there aren't that many Schwartzes in Hawaii. It's not like Smith here. So over the years, my name has stood out. And it's not yet accepted as a local name. Maybe after 38 years, not 37, they'll say, he's one of those Hawaiian tribes.
It's a common Jewish name. But as I was saying with the small world of genealogy, I don't know if you realize your father's first cousin is Janet Yellen, who was the former Federal Reserve Chair.
I remember Janet as, maybe I was like a little guy. She was 6 or 7 years old. I remember waving to her last. I
Well,
remember,
she's older than you.
oh yeah, a little bit, but she
Yeah,
was,
well,
I don't know how much older, but I was a little guy. Do you know how much older? You probably do.
5 years.
5 years. Yeah, okay, because she was a little girl. I remember that. And she's still a little girl, actually, I think.
Mm.
But she carries a
But
big
that's
stick.
the magic of genealogy, finding out, especially when you find somebody notable like that as a relative.
Yeah. And I just remember as a nice cousin. But
Right.
that's a real exciting thing to realize, and realize that the fabric of our country is all kinds of people, all kinds of colors, all kinds of religions, all kinds of everything. And how I believe it's super important for us to honor the fact, wherever people are from and whatever is going on, we got to love each other more.
All right, and that's what you also find as you go down the generations genealogically. Everybody came from Europe; they were all Ashkenazi Jews. But as you go down the generations, you find a lot more people who've married people who are not Jewish, and more, what's the word I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Diversified.
Yeah, I don't know how they got me as 100%. I don't know what that means. That means my mother and father, and all the way back as far as they can see in
Right.
my genes, were all Jews,
You're
and they were
correct. We're all Ashkenazi Jews.
wow. Well, I always thought of myself as you know, a mixture, but I guess that's really not, huh?
A lot of people in that generation that your parents and my grandparents were in, when they came here, that age range, they weren't marrying out. People started marrying, I would say, non-Jews in your generation. You and my, well, even though I'm the generation above you, you're around the same age as my parents. The baby boomer generation is when people started marrying out and not marrying not necessarily Jews. Some did, some didn't. But before that, it's much rarer for the people born in the 1920s to see them marrying non-Jews. But I've found it on branches of my family. Like I said, I've done this on all sides of my family, and I have about 11, 12,000 people on my family tree right now.
Wow.
But
Anyone like,
But Janet is the most famous living one.
is she?
She's the most famous one still alive
Wow.
on any side of my family. Yes.
Well, I wonder, she probably would remember me. We
Yeah, I've
lived
been in
all in
touch
the
with.
same.
She has
What?
a little more time. I've been in touch with her. She has a little more time on her hands, probably now than she did a couple of years ago.
Yeah. She's still in Washington? Yeah.
As far as I know, I mean, she was until the end of the last administration. I haven't.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know if she stayed there or went back to the Bay Area.
Right.
But I'll be in touch with her soon. But yes, but it's interesting. Like I said, what you find when you do genealogy. Like I said, thousands of people all over the world. Although apparently your brother's the only one in Wyoming because nobody else wants to live there.
Are there any other Schwartzes or any other people in Hawaii
Schwartz
from
is a
your
very
family?
common name, very common name. So I find Schwartzes all over on different branches of my family. It's a very common Jewish name.
You got them in Hawaii?
Not Hawaii, but I've had relatives in Hawaii and other branches. But
You
Schwartz, like
have.
I said, is a common name.
No, not only Schwartzes. I was curious about whether there were a lot of family in Hawaii. I moved
Not
here.
from the side you're on. You're probably the only person on the side we're related on, but I find random people on various sides in Hawaii.
Well, if you speak to Janet Yellen, tell her her
I
father
will.
that I'd love to speak to her. She'd be a welcome guest here on the show.
Mm.
Um, I've really, I know this was sort of spur of the moment, and I've been just to try and encouraging on. I really have appreciated that you've done that kind of homework on the family, and I felt very appreciative when you gave me a call and got in touch.
Well, it's a lot
Um,
of people. It takes a lot of work. I've reached out to thousands of people all over the world, and some help, some don't. But it's not always easy. I'll tell you because it takes a lot of time.
yeah, well, if ever you come here, I'm a really good tour guide. I know all the secret
That
places.
is good because I've never been to Hawaii. It's on my list.
And it should be. I don't know how the world is thought, but Maui had a fire. August 8th is 2 years. And although they like to say the area around it needs help, the whole island has been really damaged by what's happening. And we have classes of houselessness here. It's like extraordinary. We've been suffering from not enough housing, and this put a
I feel
real,
like that's a national issue.
yeah, it sure is. Well, you've been a really terrific guest. Any things that important that you think you want to tell people about anything really, but
Well,
anything
like I
about
said,
your
with special ed and autism awareness, that's my big issue. Having, as I said, grown up undiagnosed. If you have a child with special needs and you don't think they're getting what they need from the school, call a local attorney. I would say the best way to find an attorney is to go to the national organization, COPA. I'm on their board, the Council of Parent Attorneys and Advocates, COPAA.org. And there's attorneys in basically every state who do this.
COPAA.org.
That, yes,
Okay. Well, that's great. Michael, I very much appreciate you taking the time with me. And
absolutely.
and I know we haven't spoken much, but that can change. I'm very open. If ever there's anything that I want to say, a
Absolutely.
gathering.
And I will keep you posted when I make it out to Hawaii, hopefully someday.
Good, good, good. Blessings to you, my friend. I hope
Thanks
that
so much.
that if there's anything you ever need from here, give a whistle.
No worries.
And thank you guys for joining us out there in television and radio land and the internet. We'll see you again. Blessings. Aloha. Aloha, everyone. This is Jason Schwartz, your host here at the Neutral Zone, MauiNeutralZone.com. You can find us on 88.5 FM, and we are the voice of Maui, KAKU, simulcast on Akaku Maui Community Media, TV for oldsters like me. You can find us up on the web at MauiNeutralZone.com, at YouTube at Dream Maui and the number 1. In other words, if you're looking, you can find us. Well, today we have a really special treat. Rather than being in the studio, I came out to the west side to visit an artist who is very busy, Maui Art and Gifts in Honokowai, Maui, west side of Maui. We are here with Belinda. She likes to say Virginia Leigh, because around here, when you see Leigh, you know that might sound like Lee, but if you just hear it, you might think it's Virginia and spell it Lee. Virginia Leigh was, who was that? I don't even know. But Belinda Leigh has been an artist here for, God knows, longer, probably as long as I've been here. I got here in 88. You were probably an artist in 88. But what I had heard was that you were the queen of Front Street, meaning you were a gallery owner many years, right? By the way, I talk a lot, so please jump in. Maui, please, some of you know Belinda Leigh or Belinda Leigh, so you can spell it right. If you haven't been here, it is worth coming here, because you see the art behind me and on this wall, all the way here and all the way there, and you're going to see as we run around. You've been very prolific and incredibly varied in your style. You got to talk.
I feel really blessed to get to live here 43 years and paint what I see.
Wow, you see good things.
Well, we're all blessed when we're here. There's so much natural beauty. I mean, God creates it all, and I just get to copy it.
How did you become such a beautiful, talented artist? You've been doing it a long time.
Just practicing. After I graduated university, I just started practicing part-time, nights, weekends, squeezing it in wherever I could.
Wow. And self-taught?
Mm-hmm.
And you have amazing stuff. So when you say you paint what you see, what does that mean?
Well, from the moment I set foot on this island, I have been awestruck. There has always been something beautiful day and night. Large, small, doesn't matter. If it's the leaves on the trees or the birds or the whales, there's just always something incredibly beautiful here. And I just love to paint it.
How'd you become a gallery person?
Well, I started showing at art shows down under the banyan tree, and that was when the owner of the 3 galleries in Japan approached me and asked me to show in his galleries, and he bought all my originals directly from me and had me ship them over there.
Wow.
And then I started showing at a craft show in the Cannery Mall back in the 90s, and that is when I met my dear friend Jonathan, who owned a gallery there, and we went together running that one. And it was basically a co-op, so I learned a lot about gallery business besides just doing art shows.
Co-op meaning
Meaning there were several
supporting.
of us artists, 7 of us artists at least, who showed our work in there, and each one of us took turns working in the gallery.
A model that we've seen over the years here.
Yeah,
huh?
exactly. And then I got the opportunity when this space became available to lease this space, and my husband brought it to my attention, and I said, okay, and he totally supported me through the whole project, setting it all up and everything.
And that
And I've
was,
had this gallery at Maui Art and Gifts 30 years.
wow. So were you here and on Front Street also, or that was before?
Well, I was, at first I was here and on Front Street, and and I was showing in Jonathan's gallery. I let him have the galleries completely and run them like he always did. And then he opened up another one in the, across from the banyan tree in the center there.
The Wharf Center?
The Wharf Center. And he had a gallery there for
May
a
it
long,
rest
long
in
time.
peace, by the way.
Exactly, and may Jonathan rest in peace. We
Yeah.
lost him in the fire.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, now where were we?
We were talking about you were first doing it here and there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And then so while I was running this one, and then later I got the opportunity to partner with a fella who was showing down on Front, who had his own gallery down on Front Street. And we partnered, and then he turned out to be a bit of a lack of totally honest. And so he ended up leaving the island, and we closed that one. And then I still had this one going, and then later, a few years later, I opened Gallery 505, which was 3,000 square feet.
Wow.
Yes, and turned out that we leased 3 spaces, made them all into one, brought in an architect, redid the whole thing. It was stunningly beautiful. And the famous restaurants and luau's were all there. We had lots of traffic, and we did very, very well. We had the best artists from around the world as well as local artists.
What a great gift to all those artists, having someone. I mean, that's the gift of an artist. He gets a gift, or she gets a gift of someone else selling the art.
Mm-hmm.
It is quite something to think that you're an artist who does the work and also can stand and sell it. That is a great combination.
It's really strange to a lot of people to walk in and meet the artist running the place.
Yeah.
It's not the usual thing.
No, and not an artist of your ability. When I look around, I mean, while we're doing this, we're walking around. So you have 2 full walls filled with so many different pieces with so much unique style. Each one is very individual. It's not like you're a mass producer of,
No.
oh, let's do the above and below thing. Let's, you know the deal. You've been here through all of it, I know.
Well, I'm very old-fashioned too. I'll spend months on a piece. I won't quit till it looks real, layer after layer.
Wow, well, it shows. Really extraordinary work.
And a lot of people, I really enjoyed their commissioning me to paint one, what they want for their wall space, what size. It's been
Wow.
very enjoyable to have them be happy with my work and guide me through special paintings.
Wow. Any customers of note that you want to talk about?
Well, I didn't know this was coming.
Oh, well, you don't have to. You can tell me no.
No. Not right now.
Okay, that's
If
perfect.
I think of one later, I'll
No, you know, I always, some people like to name drop, but
Yeah.
I'm sure through the years you've had, well, I can see with your work, if anyone was fortunate to come in here or to be seeing your pieces, they are comparable to anyone and everyone that I've seen around here.
Yeah.
You really are a professional artist, and I can see that you have, it looks like you have set the trends around here for all these years. I watched them promote all kinds of different people, but I've never really heard of Belinda Leigh, except I'm fortunate to run into you through a few very, very special people who said, you know who you really need to see? You need to see Belinda. What a gift. Thank you for letting us in here.
Well, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here. I've been really blessed, and I appreciate what you're saying and doing.
Have you, through the years, watched some of the artists that are now celebrated in their growth step? Have you been following any artists from here that have kind of taken off? I'm sure you remember. I actually, when I moved in 1988, I moved into a house that Chris Lassen was living in the house before. And people said, oh, we have a guy that was here that now has his own gallery and blah, blah, blah. He's one. And I think of him as a commercial artist. He sort of painted what was the style of the day. And, you know, some people said, oh, he's not an artist, he's an illustrator, and all that kind of conversation.
Chris used to come in here regular years ago, about 15, 25 years ago, come in here on a regular basis, raving about my turtles, asking me, how do you make them look so real? Would you please come and paint with me in my studio? But I never did.
So he's one example, isn't he? But there are, over the years, I don't really know of artists that have graduated from here. We were such a significant art market. A lot of the sales were happening here. They didn't need to go anywhere else in the world to be seen. So what do you see with art on this island now? You probably had the big, long view, and after the fire and what's kind of happened, what do you see re-emerging these days? Anything?
Well, I'm really happy and blessed that I was north of the fire and all the winds were blowing north to south, and I managed to survive without being highly impacted other than the pain and the sorrow. Yeah. And then I'm also really happy that Village Galleries is opening again in a new location. Lynn Shu has worked really hard to get that going, and she's quite an incredible person herself.
Yeah, I know Lynn a long time also, but what a generous gesture to speak of another gallery.
Well, and I was happy that Chris bought Prince Cellars and he opened in the Cannery Mall. And he comes in here too, as well as Lynn, and says hi and lets me know what's going on. And I was really happy that he opened up quite a long months ago. And hopefully, people keep pushing forward and art continues to be something beautiful, a part of Maui that people love.
Well, hopefully on this web, on the web where we promote art and music and the culture of the island, you're going to be there and in a prominent spot. I already see your spot there. We want to showcase the art of Maui to the world and let the world jump in and help Maui, even if they've never been here or not sure when they're coming, because I think a lot of people recognize that a huge chunk of what was Maui was Lahaina and the art scene here. And I think that there's so many talented people. We need to bring them up and give them an opportunity to be seen and shared by the world, including you, of course.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I'm still showing artists that, like I showed 30 years ago, like Joe Ireland, and I've been helping Raphael some, and he's been selling pretty good in here. And, we've pottery, glass, all kinds of different artists.
You're nice. You have other artists in the middle of the store. And so it really feels, I must say, your stuff's the best. We won't share that. I think I'm just amazed. Look at that piece behind us. I mean, I can see it as I'm videotaping here.
I used to dive a lot, and I tell you, that was in the days before we had digital printing. And we took all of our film to 1 Hour Fox Photo and got it developed. I have file cabinets full of photographs. I loved going to another world like that, and not only does all your gravity go away, but all this incredible beauty. And so I can always let me see what I want to paint today. Okay, and then I can flip through the photographs, pick out the one I like, pin it up on the wall, and look at it as if I was doing a portrait of someone. Look at it while I'm painting and get it all accurate. Wow. And that's what this piece behind us was. It was actually, the original's a little larger. That's a limited edition.
Wow.
And I've been really blessed. I've had like a doctor in St. Louis, him and his wife commissioned me to paint 3 5-foot paintings for their big home with the big tall walls. and it's always encouraged me and inspired me to move forward.
When you're here during, I'm going to say during the day, when can you find time to paint?
Between customers, when I'm not
Oh, you
busy
do?
doing something else, and then I don't usually. Lately, I haven't been opening until like 10:30 in the morning. That gives me like 5 hours at home if I want to get things done then and do some painting.
You get up at 5 in the morning?
Sometimes before that even.
Wow.
Yeah. And then
You're raised-
sometimes a little later too. You never know exactly, but most of the time before that. And then in the evening too, a lot of times I close early at 6:30, and I'll go home and get some other projects going then. And then I close on Sundays now. So that's been giving me more time too.
And obviously you love it. You couldn't be here as much as you are unless
I
you were
love,
totally
and
in
I
love.
love meeting all the people that come in and share all their experiences with me. It's like having social hours all the time. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I can see that. And when you are picking a new piece, you're still doing it the same way? Picking from a photograph and
Not
doing it that way?
most of the time. If I wanted to look exactly like a place, like the one I did at Black Rock over there, I will go right out there first thing in the morning, like I did, right when the sun's beginning to tip the mountain. Take a photograph of what it looks like, throw in the shadows, the colors, everything, pin it up on the wall, and then I've had people. While I paint it, I make it look real, and I've had people come in and point to the room they're in there on the Sheridan. It cracks me up because I took the time to get it accurate. But if I want a place to look exactly like it is, then yes, I will take a photograph and look at the photograph while I'm painting.
Mhm.
Yes.
Hello, ladies. Come on in.
We're going to give a break. This is one of those moments.
Come on in.
Well, we took a break and we decided that we're going to come back and kind of give you a few minutes more of Belinda. We're going to have to come back and visit her again. I am super impressed with your work, and I'm impressed with you. You're still looking like a young girl, and you're still painting with a style that is, you're still making new roads into how beautiful this place can be. You see a lot in Maui, don't you? Just like been.
Maui's just, Hawaii is so blessed, and I don't think it's any accident. God created all this natural beauty to constantly inspire us and lift us up.
Yeah, well, I am just amazed that you have been so prolific for so long. When I look around here, like I said, it's just really inspiring. I see so many pieces, and I say, that looks like, so I can see that you've been the one that's been setting the pace. Isn't that amazing? You know, many times we don't really see, you know, who's first, who's second, but you've really set I want to say, the runway that others have been taken off on all these years, you know. You've really been setting the pace and the style that people didn't realize is you. You know, you've been really a big leader here for so very long. What do you think's going to happen in the future? You have any thoughts on the Maui artists that you've seen? Any of them coming out of the woodwork?
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen them enjoying painting again and finding markets where people appreciate their work. Yes. Yes.
Well, we hope to be doing that and trying to showcase Maui's art and music to the world. And I really want to thank you for all that you've given for all these years. And for all of you out there who don't know Belinda, you will know Belinda Leigh or Belinda Leigh. It's funny you say that, because I think I sound like a little kid, but I feel like a kid in a candy store here. I've never seen so much beautiful art and see someone who's there sharing it directly like you do to the public. That's a real talent in itself.
Well, it's a blessing.
Yeah, I can see
It's
that.
a blessing. It may be a lot of work, but it's a blessing.
Well, and thank you for being here and giving some time to the people of Maui, you know.
Well, the people of Maui give me so much time and inspiration and lift me up. I mean, even after the fire, some local dudes brought in some koa wood and made it a gift to me. They loved the way I was promoting all the natural beauty, and another one came in and brought in the natural sodalite, the blue obsidian that they found like 8 feet below when they were doing construction in Lahaina.
Wow.
And it's not for sale, it's for display, so people can feel what we are, what we walk on, what we inspires us to look at and see. It's amazing.
Well, you were amazing. Belinda, thank you for joining me here today.
Are you kidding? Thank you. I appreciate all your time and all your consideration.
You're most welcome. Maui Art and Gifts. What's the name of this shopping center?
The Honokowai Marketplace.
There you go. The Honokowai Marketplace.
In
Yeah,
Honokowai.
In Honokowai. Well, thank you again for joining us.
Thank
Pleasure.
you. Aloha.
Aloha.
There you go. And so I've been very blessed with several Hawaiians born and raised here who've come in and treated me quite beautifully, gifting me in the ways that they know. A Hawaiian lady came in, did some beautiful hula, put her handmade lei on me, beautiful flowers, and then also another lady came in and gave me her homemade flower made out of dried tea leaves.
Wow. So they've been knowing about you and
I
don't even know
guess.
how, huh?
And then this gentleman came in, this Hawaiian man, and brought in this gorgeous 6-foot-long piece of koa wood, saying that it could make a beautiful tabletop, and it was all natural with the bark edge showing, and it was all sanded down, polished beautifully to look at the grain in the wood.
Wow.
And said that, you know, he makes lots of tables, but this is a gift for you, and just gave it to me. And then another Hawaiian man came in and gave me this beautiful piece of blue obsidian, which is the lava rock he found doing construction about 6 feet below ground level in Lahaina town, with the blue obsidian
Wow.
in it. And it was just simply, and it's on display, not for sale.
I can't sit here without wanting to focus on your art. Not that you're not beautiful, but I am looking behind you. Just amazing, your body of work. Well, I hope that when people, can they find you on the internet also?
Yeah, MauiArtandGifts.com.
A-N-D or the symbol?
A-N-D. MauiArtandGifts.com.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for giving me the time today. It's been a real pleasure.
Thank you very much. I
My
appreciate
pleasure.
it.
Thank you guys for joining us. Aloha. There is no other one. What I feel here for you, holding you in my arms, cradle you with my love. You're all dressed in white, looking in your eyes, till all the world tonight I'll be falling. You're my shining star from this day on. I'll be your friend, I'll be by your side. Blessed are we this night. Shower us with His love. Will you be mine tonight? Giving you all my love. And when we look back at our wedding day, this band of gold that we giving love for all my life than I do. The time has come to make a change. The time has come to unlock the hope that lives in each and every one of us. And we must do our part. We hold the visions God dreams of. Our hands can heal the ones we love. Let's gather round and let us make a stand for you and me. Unlock the hope and there's a better life. Unlock the hope, there'll be no turning back. But nothing changes unless we unlock the hope. The time has come to make a change. The time has come to unlock the hope that lives in each and every one of us. And we must do our part. We hold the visions God dreams of. Our hands can heal the ones we love. Let's gather round and let us make a stand for you and me. Unlock the hope and there's a better life. Unlock the hope, there'll be no turning back. But nothing changes unless we unlock the hope. But nothing changes unless we unlock the hope. But nothing changes. Unless we unlock the hope. Unless we unlock the hope.